Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon. My name is Stephanie Escalante and this is my capstone project. The title of my capstone project is called Cultivating Voices, the Impact of Culturally Responsive Arts Education on Technical Skill and Personal Expression. A bit of a mouthful, but definitely was an exciting project to work on. So I wanted to start with the core issue of my project addresses. So despite our increasingly diverse student populations, many art programs across America really remain deeply rooted in traditional Western artistic traditions. So this creates a significant disconnect for students, especially from underrepresented backgrounds, and frankly, it perpetuates educational inequities. Considering this statistic, only 26% of African American students receive an art education, and albeit an education that is probably not something that they can relate to, compared to 51% of their Caucasian peers. This isn't just a representation gap, it's a barrier that limits both technical development and authentic personal expression for so many of our students, especially my own. My capstone project really dives into this challenge, aiming to understand the transformative impact of culturally responsive arts education on secondary students' artistic development. And I'm focusing specifically on how we can foster both strong technical skills and genuine personal expression. So, this led me to my central research question, which is how can culturally responsive art education simultaneously develop students' technical proficiency and authentic personal expressions? Really important, especially as it pertains to art. So, this has been the question that I've been honing in on and will hone in on this presentation. To answer that, we first need to understand a little bit of the theoretical backbone to all of this. My research moved far beyond a superficial multicultural approach, which I feel often many schools try to do. It's more about authentic engagement with the material, going deeper, drawing on frameworks like critical race theory. Scholars like Crahy and Acuff highlight how traditional curricula can inadvertently perpetuate systems of privilege, underscoring the need for art education to reflect diverse student identities. Similarly, Ballingry, Morris, and Stir emphasize the importance of art classrooms becoming sites of genuine cultural exchange rather than merely borrowing aesthetic elements. So, the core takeaway here is that authentic engagement with cultural context is fundamental to effective education and not just a blanket add on part of the curriculum. This push for culturally responsive education is crucial because significant systemic barriers and inequities persist. As scholar Kate Buonicontro's research highlights, with the art education access disparity I mentioned earlier, these aren't isolated incidents, they're deep seated systemic issues. Curtis's work further challenges the detrimental colorblind approach, demonstrating how ignoring racial dynamics in education actively undermines equity. So, my literature review revealed really clear evidence. Schools with predominantly Black and Hispanic student populations often face, of course, reduced resources, fewer art teachers, and limited enrichment opportunities. Real change requires us to address these fundamental conditions that create unequal opportunities. So, how do we translate this theory and all of these fancy terminologies into practice? How do we go deeper? So, what I have done in my literature review, I've done a couple of powerful strategies such as standards blending. This integrates academic standards with culturally responsive teaching, showing improved student achievement and behavior because lessons connected to their lived experiences. That is the part that really goes deeper. Lee's research shows how art making itself becomes a powerful tool for investigating challenging topics like race and identity. As so often, art has always done since the beginning of its of time, essentially. Uh, Crucially, as Buffington emphasizes, we need to shift from teacher centered to student centered approaches, truly empowering students and redistributing classroom authority. It's pretty clear that effective, culturally responsive art education moves beyond superficial diversity to fundamentally reshaping power dynamics and, of course, student engagement. Informed by all of this research, I've proposed a culturally responsive art curriculum for secondary students. My philosophy is that art isn't just about technical skill, but it's a profound tool for identity, voice, and social commentary, as so much of art is that. I've structured this curriculum using backward design, meaning I start with the end result in mind. The desired results are students deeply understanding art's connection to culture and social justice, able to express their unique perspectives, and the acceptable evidence includes authentic student artworks and reflections, many reflections, of course. The learning plan focuses on uncoverage, diving deep into meaningful topics rather than just skimming surfaces. So we're going deep versus going wide, not covering as many topics as we can, but going as deep as we can with one specific topic at a time. And all of these are aligned with the New York State Visual Arts Standard. The curriculum unfolds over a semester structured into three interconnected modules. So here you have an example of what these three modules could look like. And under each module, there could be several projects, maybe even just one per module. So, module one is unpacking identity through portraiture, where students explore how art expresses personal and cultural identity, and perhaps through an intersectional self portrait project. Module two, we have art as community and social commentary, focusing on art as a catalyst for dialogue and social change with projects like proposing a public art installation or maybe even a mural. And then module three is Indigenous perspectives and place based art, which explores how Indigenous art embodies deep connections to land and cultural practices. Each of these modules aims to build technical skills while fostering critical thinking and empowered artistic voices. So, to recap and to sum it all up, my capstone project really demonstrates and illustrates that culturally responsive arts education is not just an enhancement, but it's really a necessity. When students see themselves reflected in the curriculum, when they're empowered to explore their identities through art, something transformative happens within a student. They develop stronger technical skills, yes, of course, but more importantly, they discover and amplify their artistic voices and really just discovering that they have a voice through these artistic means and technical skills. This approach transcends mere representations for representation's sake and really achieve genuine transformation. And so, my hope is that this project provides a roadmap for creating art classrooms where every student feels validated, engaged, and truly empowered, cultivating a deep appreciation for the vast tapestry of global artistic traditions. Thank you for listening, and these are my references. Thank you again. Have a great day, guys.